This is Abe Friedtanzer from Awards Buzz. Very excited to be speaking with Gideon Grody-Patinkin and Ewen Wright about Seasoned. How are you today?
Doing good. Thank you. Thanks for
Good,
that.
thanks, Abe.
Wonderful. Well, I understand your connection, Gideon, to the protagonists of this series. And Ewan, I'm curious about how you came along and got involved.
Sure, yeah. The story starts with college, I guess. Gideon and I briefly went to the same college. And we didn't actually connect super deeply there, but we sort of saw each other's creative sensibilities at that time. And I think started to have a bit of a friend slash creative collaborator crush on each other for years, and just started running in very similar orbits until we finally both ended up in the Bay Area. And Gideon's a musician in his own right, so we started working together and doing theater stuff together. And then when the pandemic hit and he was back with his folks, he was recording them and he hit me up about if I wanted to join their efforts at all. And, you know, the rest sort of unfolded from there.
And Gideon, what is it like to write lines for your parents to say that sound like something they would have said all the time?
Uh, Fairly natural and and fun. I mean, it's yeah, it's a great experience uh coming up with that, writing it down, me and Ewan laughing, and then sharing it with them and having that be confirmed and feel natural to them as well. That's a great feeling. It was also very enjoyable handing them scenes and episodes and them saying, we just can't get over you could write that in our voice kid in that scene, and me getting to say, well, actually Ewan wrote that scene. You now have two people in your orbit who know your voices well enough um to write for you. So yeah, it's a real joy and a privilege, and sometimes a little uncomfortable to feel how well I know their voices. Sometimes I think that is issue I discussed with my therapist, how deeply I know my parents' lives, but it's made for a great creative process and a show that we really believe in and are excited to go on the journey with.
And I assume that anything that feels perhaps too invasive or that you're, getting too personal with something, they're rather than upset, they're just impressed that you've picked up on something that is authentic.
Yeah, we thought there would be a lot more red lines with them. I mean, the pilot really serves as an opening to these characters and a little bit of their dynamic, but where we go for the rest of the season is takes a lot more risks. It's a lot more vulnerable for their own stories and the storylines we tell with them. We thought we'd hit a lot more barriers with them saying, I don't want to go there. That's too raw. That's too crazy. That's too embarrassing. But I think they were so delighted in seeing how we could take gems of their lived experience and sometimes the most embarrassing stuff of their lived experience and kind of craft these relatable universal stories from them. So we got very little pushback against anything.
The pushback we did get tended to be like the most unexpected, and like we were like, but this is totally not vulnerable, or it's like totally meaningless. We just literally need you to like handle this prop. And Catherine will be like, but I would never have one of those.
Yeah,
So it's like, okay. Well, okay, let's find the realism and the fiction here.
yeah,
I
yeah.
also appreciate
Using the biggest fight or conflict in their relationship, no problem. But that whisk, I would never use that kind of whisk for eggs. It's like, oh, okay.
well, I like that the pilot, feels not like a fever dream, but it's sort of like it's just one, one long night. Is the intention for subsequent episodes to also be just sort of contained to one long instance?
No, that's a great question. No, thank you. We love that about the pilot as well. But the intention with the other episodes is really to treat each one as its own piece. And so we really just came up with either like the theme, the topic, the subject matter of that episode and went from there. And then it was really like, okay, well, what's the approach? So they do each have their own style. And I'd say because we're always pinned to Mandy and Catherine, there's certainly a feeling of intimacy throughout that. And you can definitely see where their relationship being so close can have really great, high highs, and then has these cons of interdependence and codependence and things where that maybe fever dream vibe starts to build on itself. But in subsequent episodes, it might feel really different in that they're actually separated, but you're seeing how they're linked, or they're linked together, but we're playing with it in a really choppy way as opposed to this like long, drawn out night kind of a feeling.
But the idea for in the season was that um yeah, we're sometimes dramatically shifting gears in pacing, in tone, in what
Genre.
adventures that are going on, even genre. So we're wanting to keep our audiences, surprised. That's the kind of TV that inspired us the most, where you might not know exactly where you are or what's happening for a moment, and to keep that edge in the process.
And Gideon, are you or a version of you a part of the story at some point?
Sorry, can you ask again?
Are you or a version of you a part of this story at some point?
Yeah, right now in the season, their kids, fictional and otherwise, are do become a part of it, as well as Ewan playing my best friend, do become a part of the season. So that's a whole nother fun part of the experience.
Well, I know that this has been in development for a while. There was a plan for, a series, didn't necessarily work out. In most cases, I feel like you'd be worried the actors might move on to other projects. I have a feeling that these are the right choices and they're probably willing to come back under any circumstances. But what do you think? What's the hope after Tribeca for this show right now?
Yeah, I think exactly like you're saying, we've certainly not had any notions of putting this to bed. It's like when things didn't work out with the first round of what we had been set up with, it was this immediate pivot to like, okay, well, this is going to happen some way or another. What's the strategy for making it happen with the right people, the right resources, in the way that we were so excited to tell it? And within that, we're also, I think, pretty excited to find what it will feel like to partner with new creative folks who might bring another spice into the mix with us while also like really understanding the bedrock of what we're trying to do.
Yeah. Uh, yeah, I think it's a real unique project for all of us, and there won't be another one exactly like it or an opportunity exactly like it. So uh, it's been a beautiful, arduous, and very like closely bonded process bringing it to this point, and I think we're just really excited to find the right home.
But we have said that if Mandy drops out, we'll try and get Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah, that's a given.
I like that. Well, while I had the chance to watch this at home, I know one of my favorite things about watching movies or shows that take place in New York City is watching them in New York City. So I'm sure that getting to screen this first episode at Tribeca will be a very rewarding time.
We're super excited. It feels like the perfect fit. As soon as they got back to us saying we were there, we were like, oh, this is, yeah. For all the ups and downs that come with a project and a process like this, moment like that, you're just like, oh, yeah, this is how it was meant to go. This clicks. And we're super grateful to Tribeca. They're awesome.
Well, I'm excited to see the rest, so I wish you luck and can't wait to find out where this all lands.
Thank you so much, Abe.
Thanks,
Thank you
man. Really
guys. Such a
appreciate it.
pleasure.